Hey guys, what's going on? I know it's been a while since I've last done a INFJ video, really any type of Myers-Briggs type video or psychology video. I've just been swamped with other tasks and I love it. I love what I've been doing, but I just wanted to start off by saying in advance, I'm sorry that I've not been keeping up with it. I have seen that a lot of you guys, if not more than 50% of you, actually come here for my INFJ videos and psychology videos. I haven't forgot that over 120 of you actually, like blows my mind, came from the INFJs are crushing on you video. I'm really glad, that you subscribed, but I would really love it if you could tell me what you want me to cover. See, part of the reason I've not been making content is I don't really know what to talk about unless I get bursts of inspiration. If you would tell me, just tell me in the comments what you want me to cover. I'll make the video immediately. I'll hop right on it like immediately today. But you've got to let me know, okay? Just because I can't keep focusing all of my attention on these INFJ videos, trying to come up with topics while I have all of these other things on my agenda to do. I still have to go to work. I still have to focus on my music. I'm making gaming videos. I spent 12 hours in editing. I've got my hands full. So meet me in the middle. I'm glad that you subscribed because of my INFJ videos, but it would mean a lot to me if you would just tell me what you want me to cover. I've made over 66 different videos, so you might have questions that I've already answered, but I might have to go over them again just because it's been so long. So if that's you, if you would be willing to meet me in the middle, help me keep making content like this, just comment below a video topic you'd like me to cover next time, okay? All right. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to know if an INFJ wants to be friends with you. Now, this is a controversial topic because there are two main types of INFJs. You have INFJ type Ts, turbulent types, and you have the assertive types, like me. Now, INFJ turbulent types are more affected by their external stimuli. They're much more apt to become emotionally involved in situations purely based off of the stimuli that they're receiving, whether that be their friend is upset or their spouse is angry with them. INFJ type Ts are quick to respond in kind to the emotions that they're picking up. In other words, if your spouse is angry with you, you're more likely to respond in anger because you are upset that your spouse is upset, and that's making you upset because you're a turbulent type INFJ. Now, this doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. This does not mean that you need to work on yourself. This simply means your brain is wired in a way that makes you more susceptible to being overwhelmed by stimuli. It's just that simple. Now, INFJ type As, you assertive types out there, you are on the opposite end of the spectrum. You could care so much less about how somebody else is feeling, and it doesn't mean that you don't care, but it does mean that you personally don't have as much of a reaction to external stimuli as the turbulent type would. In other words, if your spouse is angry with you, you might be likely to just tell them to calm down because it's not a big deal. And if you're a turbulent type, you'll get angry that they told you to calm down because now you are upset that they didn't realize that it mattered so much to you. So this can create some controversy among signs that an INFJ will give off, but you can look at both ends of the spectrum and you can see the data points kind of connect, okay? So without keeping you guys waiting too much longer, I just want to dive into this. Number one, the INFJ is open to discussion. Now, this may seem like it's very straightforward, but it's not. And give me a moment to just dive into this a little bit for you. When an INFJ wants to discuss something, they're usually not straightforward. INFJ's brains tend to work in a web-based pattern. So they will analyze information and then gather the points and connect the dots or dots that aren't even there. So when an INFJ is talking about something, they're usually not straightforward in the matter of simply saying the sky is blue because it's blue. Now, the INFJ will drop a bomb in the conversation. And this sounds exactly like I said it. They'll drop a bomb on the conversation. This is a sign that an INFJ is open to communication. Here's a prime example. Yeah, so you wouldn't even believe what happened to me. After I told Joe to leave me alone, he had the nerve to tell me I was being selfish. What a jerk! I know. And after he told me I was selfish and I simply told him that he was out of line, he had the nerve to come back at me again and tell me that I was a terrible friend. It is at this point the INFJ would come in and say something along these lines, dropping a bombshell. Well, how do you know that he was upset with you and maybe not just upset with himself? Now, normally this gets INFJs bit hard. Number one, because that's obviously not a wise thing to do. Proverbs is pretty clear. It's like grabbing a dog by the ear whenever you barge into somebody else's conversation and just introduce yourself. Like, you don't do that, guys. INFJs, I know you're just trying to be helpful. I know you're just trying to strike up a conversation and really put your thoughts out there, but don't do this. Just don't do it, okay? If you're a young INFJ out there and you wonder why it gets under people's skins, like, yeah, you're right. It gets under their skins because you are right, because you're saying the truth, because you're right on. They feel invaded. They just didn't want to hear it. Yes to all of those things, but don't do it. It's not effective. It doesn't work. People don't like it. Like, yeah, you're right. But find a different way to tell them that you're right. Maybe find a better time. Just don't do it. People really don't respond well. And that's the bottom line. It's not you, it's them, but just don't do it. All right, so normally INFJs get backlash for this. This is a sign an INFJ is open to communicating with you. It means that there's something there that they're willing to try to take to the next level. They're willing to try to establish a connection with you. Just when an INFJ drops these bombs, it may seem intrusive, it may seem ignorant, it may seem rude, it may seem like they don't care and they're being insensitive. They're not. We are not. We're just communicating the only way we know how, and that's with a very open response. We're just trying to tell you that we care. We heard what you're going through. We understand what you're going through. We're validating what you said, and we're sharing our thoughts. We're just trying to connect with you. Don't beat us down. Just understand. And we can learn. We can learn, okay? Just tell us if it upsets you. We'll know not to do it with you again. All right. Number 2, they are not afraid to tell you when they're upset. Now, this is a big one for INFJs because they're introverts and they won't tell you when they're upset. Someone will say, whoa, Eric, what do you mean we won't tell them whenever we're upset? INFJs are emotional people. We're not afraid to express ourselves. Yes, but. You are very careful how much you open up about. Yes. You're very careful how much you're willing to say, correct? Okay. Having said that, when an INFJ is not afraid to tell you how they feel when they're upset about something, what this means is not that they trust you per se, but that they are willing to communicate and talk it out. This is hard for an INFJ. TI, thinking, is our tertiary function. We don't normally think our thought processes through like we should. And it gets us into trouble sometimes. That's why it's so important for an INFJ to have someone they can bounce ideas off of, because it helps us think through our thoughts. This is very hard for a turbulent type INFJ because they're so affected by their external environment. So I mean to say, when an INFJ is willing to, even though they're not good at it, even though it makes them uncomfortable, even though they struggle, even though this isn't a strong suit, they're still willing to be themselves, and they know they're not that good at it, but they're willing to try with you anyway. They're willing to try because they care, and they're willing to communicate. Don't take it for granted. We're not going to take it too personally if you shut us down. We know we're not good at it. Yeah, we make mistakes. Okay, I shouldn't have tried. My bad. I'll just let it go. And that's normally how we'll respond, because most of the time people don't want to talk things out. It's just the society we live in. But when an INFJ is willing to tell you that they're upset, we're not attacking you. We're just trying to communicate in a way that we're not good at. Ask us questions. It'll go a long way. Number 3, we are openly expressive about our Thanksgiving. INFJs will thank you. We are appreciative people, and we will voice those Thanksgivings a lot of the time. But when an INFJ is really open to communicating, they'll take it a step further. they'll go on and elaborate, and they'll go on and on and on into detail about what they're thankful for and why they're thankful. And they'll praise you and they'll build you up and complimenting you and telling you the things that they like about you. Now, this may seem like an out of character habit because it doesn't have anything to do exactly with communicating. It's just us being expressive and kind and thanking people, right? And just being INFJs and loving people. But it's not quite. You see, when an INFJ dives deeper into our positive feelings, it makes us vulnerable. We don't like to be vulnerable around people we don't trust because it can get us hurt. See, for an INFJ to be willing to communicate in a moment of vulnerability, it says a lot about trust. So if an INFJ goes the extra mile to really tell you what you've done good, it means that they trust you enough not to tear them apart in the process. All right, guys, so those are 3 signs that an INFJ is willing to communicate with you. If you see them, it would be a good idea to take that step forward in return and just respond in a very similar manner. If they're complimenting you, compliment them back. Thank them for the compliment. Go into detail about the Thanksgiving. You know, if they are trying to tell you how they're upset, listen to them, try to understand why they're upset, and talk back and forth with them. Bounce ideas off of each other. That's what an INFJ needs. Just keep going back and forth until there's an understanding. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, I'm sorry that I haven't been releasing a whole lot. Comment below what you want me to talk about. It would help me out a lot. It takes a huge amount of effort off of my workload, and it makes my job easier so I can just jump right into the video without having to spend unnecessary energy. I can just dive in and talk for you guys. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.